So this is a unique story, and I wanted to do this video because if you're, let's say, looking into being an Uber driver and a Lyft driver, it can be nerve-wracking your first time ever doing a ride. And I still remember being there. I downloaded Lyft first. I turned on the app, and I was like waiting. I was like, oh my God, here we go. I got a ride. I'm like, well, here we go. First ride. And here's the story behind my first ride as a Lyft driver and as an Uber driver. So I got the ride, I was driving, got the ride, and they said, hey, I'm at the corner of this Panera Bread. And I said, okay, cool, makes sense. So I'm driving, I pull up to that corner for the Panera Bread, there's a girl standing right there, and I roll down the window and say, hey, here for Lyft? And she goes, yeah, here for Lyft. I'm like, perfect. So she gets in the car. Then I start driving, and I start getting a bunch of calls, but it seemed like a spam call, so I was just kind of ignoring them. Then she gets a bunch of calls on her phone, and she's ignoring them. And then I'm like, wait, something seems a little off here. Turns out, two girls ordered a Lyft at the exact same time, at the exact same location, and I happened to pick up the wrong one. Now, this is why I suggest to all the Lyft and Uber drivers out there, always say the name. That's something that I didn't even know about or think about for my first ride. I should have been like, hey, Amanda or Caitlin or whatever her name was, but I didn't do that because I wrote down the window, I said Lyft, and she goes, oh yeah, I'm here for Lyft. And I think in my mind, I was like, well, what are the chances, right? What are the chances two girls happen to order a Lyft at the exact same time, at the exact same location? I called the actual girl back and said, hey, I'm so sorry. I picked up the wrong person. I'm super sorry. She said, no big deal. And then the girl in my car canceled the ride. But at that point then, I'm like, well, what now? I mean, she's in my car. She wants to go home. And she's like, hey, I can give you cash for the ride. And I'm like, you know what? That works. Everything works out fine. I mean, being honest, I think if she didn't have cash on her, I would have probably just dropped her off for free because I was like, wow, she was super cool about it. I even said, hey, you know, this is actually my first ride ever as a rideshare driver, and she was laughing about it. So it was definitely a unique story, but I definitely look at it as a kind of like a fun story where I was like, you know what, that's what kicked it off for me. That was my first ever ride driving for Lyft and Uber where I picked up the wrong person, just given crazy luck, picked up the wrong person. And luckily, we ended up working it out where she gave me cash for the ride and everything turned out okay. But that was my first time ever driving for Lyft and Uber.